Arsenal 2, Stoke City 0. Finally a performance from Arsenal that, you know what, I felt quite comfortable watching that game. I was actually rather enjoying myself, which is something that this season of Arsenal hasn't been too much of a familiar feeling. Probably our most convincing performance thus far, and going into that game against Zagreb, going into that game against Chelsea next week, who lost 3-1 away from home against Everton today, fills me with a lot more confidence, feel a lot more comfortable within the team, and I liked what I saw today. I thought we played some excellent football. Of course, that striking role, I think with the chances that the likes of Walcott and Giroud missed in the game, it does evidence why we do need someone a bit more convincing up top. Don't get me wrong, I do rate Giroud, I do rate Walcott. Both strikers scored today, so I mean both of our striking options scored. That's one positive we can take from this game. On one hand, you know, we're all crying out for a striker, a Karim Benzema type of player, someone that's going to bang in goals, convert the chances that Giroud and Walcott respectively missed today. But on the other hand, both the options that we've got up top at this moment in time scored, and we've still got Danny Welbeck to come back at some point. So, you know, positives and negatives on that front, but nonetheless, I'm happy with how he performed today and that both strikers got something on the board, because Giroud really needed a goal, especially after that chance he scored at the minute he came onto the pitch. And focusing on Giroud for just a moment, 2 goals in 5 games, hasn't even started the last 2 games. Not a bad return, really not a bad return, although he does wind me up sometimes. He really winds me up. That chance he had that I was actually just about to get onto, the one that he missed, which he put wide, which he should have put in the back of the net, put on a platter for him. I can't believe he missed that, but then he goes and scores a goal, which, you know, arguably was harder to put in the net. So Giroud just evidencing his inconsistency there, but I'm more than happy for him to get on the score sheet. He really did need that, as I mentioned, and as did another player, Theo Walcott, who got our first goal. So let's first of all talk about Arsenal's team lineup. And when I first saw it, I was met with a feeling of frustration. Aaron Ramsey on the right-hand side, no Oxlade-Chamberlain in the team. Theo Walcott starting up top when I really wanted Giroud to start this game. I think that was the feeling amongst Arsenal fans, but also a bit of excitement within the side. The idea that we were mixing things up a little bit. I mean, Wenger putting faith in Walcott by continuing to play him up top, and I think one aspect of that is that we are paying Walcott a ridiculous sum of money of about 140 grand a week. So I can kind of understand why he continued to play in this game. Was surprised Giroud was left out of the team. That really did surprise me. I was surprised Ramsey started on the right-hand side. This team was a bit of an odd one. But I was excited to see it in a way because it was the same one that, well, almost the same one, bar Walcott for Giroud, the one that went on about a winning streak of about 10 games last season. So that was certainly something that got me a little bit excited going into this game. But nonetheless, I did want to see Oxlade-Chamberlain start the game. I wanted to see things mixed up a little bit more, but unfortunately that wasn't to be. And I thought Walcott would be a source of frustration today, but he proved me wrong in this game. And first of all, that first half, it started off at a blistering pace. We had a chance very early on in the game. We started very convincingly, but it's really good on the ball. Stoke City were being pressed back into their own half, but we weren't able to get the ball in the back of the net. We had our most clear-cut chance that I can remember when Alexis Sanchez had a shot on goal, hit the post, fell right back to the field, Walcott, and against Newcastle, exactly the same, pretty much an open goal, and he can't put it in the back of the net. And you're just thinking, I really hope this isn't going to be one of these days for Theo Walcott, because he didn't start off in the right way, because he had another clear-cut chance after that. A free header, which he blazed over the bar, and you can't help but feel that if Giroud was on the pitch, that may have gone in. But Walcott shut up all the doubters a little bit later on when he got a goal. Superb ball from Mesut Ozil, just one-touch play, playing it into Walcott, over the top of the whole Stoke team, just completely carved them apart. Walcott making a great run in behind and finishes it tidily past Butland. Really pleased with Walcott, and we really needed that goal going into that second half. I can't help but feel that this could have been a different game if we'd have gone into the second half at 0-0. That wouldn't have been the way to start the second period of play. And we did go into the second half at 1-0, but we should have had a lot more goals than that. The performance that we were putting in reflected something that should have been about 3 or 4-0 to us. We had chance after chance after chance. I was just so surprised with the positions we were getting into. The likes of Ozil, Alexis Sanchez, etc. going forward. Aaron Ramsey, even though he played on the right-hand side, was a little frustrating in this game. Did dodge out of quite a few challenges, quite a few 50-50s. A lot of our players did that today, I noticed. A load of players such as Giroud, like I mentioned, Ramsey, were dodging out of 50-50 challenges, which is something you can't be doing. Got to have a bit more of a physical battle in these games against the likes of Stoke City. But Ramsey, for me, on the right-hand side, put in a good shift, was skillful going forward, did a good job defensively. Hector Bellerin as well, right back. Absolutely magnificent, as with the whole back line. Koscielny, arguably a contender for man of the match. Same goes with Gabriel. He was world class again today. Monreal at left back, superb. Czech behind the back line was absolutely magnificent, and that kind of for me is our settled back five, including Petr Cech in there. Looked absolutely magnificent. But I was talking about going forward. It's just an all-round good team performance today. So I want to compliment everyone whilst I can. Alexis Sanchez, I thought, was magnificent. Mesut Ozil was really good going forward. He was creating everything, pulling the strings, apart from a few haphazard passes, which are starting to become a bit typical in his play. That's something that he needs to eradicate. Cazorla as well, magnificent. And the man of the moment, Francis Coquelin, who had an absolutely blinding game. He was absolutely superb. Going into that second half though, 1-0, and I was kind of hoping that we'd pick up where we left off in the first half, which we didn't really. For that first 15-minute spell of the second half, it was just laying back. You know, it's kind of like we'd fallen asleep for a little bit. We were allowing Stoke to pressurise us. I don't know whether we were conserving our energy for the game against Zagreb in midweek, like thinking ahead towards that Chelsea game as well. But we should have gone out, we should have gone all guns blazing. Now 1-0 is a slender margin. The game is pretty much anyone's at that point, and it could have gone a different way. Stoke did have a few chances. Diouf came close to putting a couple of headers in. Shaqiri was looking good going forward. But apart from that, I can't really think of anything clear-cut, any clear-cut chances that they had on goal. I can't think of any one that they produced throughout the course of the game. I thought, as good as we were, Stoke were pretty poor in this match. And defensively, I thought they were pretty shambolic. In the midfield, totally overran them. And going forward, I felt they offered absolutely nothing. So Stoke weren't much of a threat today. And for a team that have quite invested quite heavily this summer, I was expecting a little bit more from them and a bit of a tougher battle. But that wasn't the case. In that second half, like I say, we didn't create all that much. We did back off Stoke a little bit. Alexis Sanchez, though, was driving everything going forward. We did have chances, but I think the whole crowd just wanted to see a second goal from Arsenal. We saw Olivier Giroud come on for Theo Walcott. Personally, if it was me, I would have taken Ramsey off and put Walcott onto that right-hand side. I want to see how Giroud and Walcott play in the same team. And I don't want to see Walcott predominantly play in that striking role. I still want to see what he can offer to Arsenal on that right-hand side of the pitch. But for now, it looks like he's kind of cemented in a striking position, which I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I'd rather he was playing predominantly on the right flank with Giroud up top. That's something I'd like to see possibly in the game in midweek. Walcott on the right, Giroud through the middle, Alexis Sanchez on the left. I think that could work wonders for us, especially with Mesut Ozil playing in behind. Leave your thoughts on that in the comments box below. That's just something that I think could work for us. But like I say, we saw Giroud introduced, we saw Chamberlain introduced also, and Giroud, in moments of being on the pitch, had a great chance to score. It was haphazard defending by Stoke, just offering the ball to him, and he just blazes it wide past Butland in a chance which was harder to miss, really. I'm quite amazed how he did miss it. So that didn't give Giroud the best of introductions to the game. But shortly after that, he scores from an excellent free kick by Santi Cazorla, placing it into the back of the net past Butland, which was a great goal for Giroud. Certainly a header that was not an easy one to put in the back of the net. So really happy for Giroud on that front. The game ends 2-0, but realistically, we could have ended with about 5 or 6 goals. We were that good today. We just need a little bit more up front. We need to be a little bit more convincing up top and have a little bit more conviction in our play. I want us to be a bit more ruthless in these games. And it's good that we weren't so predictable as we have been in the past. And I think Mesut Ozil made an outstanding amount of difference. In terms of how we generally played, it was similar to the game against Newcastle. But Ozil pulled the strings, made pockets of space that I think so many people don't realise. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have got that first goal through Theo Walcott, which we so desperately needed. Broke the deadlock, and all round superb team performance. I can't think of one player that put in a bad shift today. Chamberlain looked good when he came on. Like I've mentioned, that settled back line looks really good to me. I wouldn't change a thing about that for the rest of the season. Bellerin's looking magnificent. So is Monreal. The two centre-backs, Koscielny and Gabriel, were absolutely superb. I think my man in the match today would probably have to go to Francis Coquelin. Outstanding, just absolutely outstanding. The guy's a revelation at Arsenal, and long may it continue for him, because he is just looking so good. And now we're 6 points clear of Chelsea. Massive game against them next week. If we can beat them, which we've got to at least score a couple of goals past them, given how they're defending. They look absolutely shocking at the back. So if we could go to Stamford Bridge and win just 1-0, I'd be over the moon. That would make my season that. I do hope we do it, go 9 points clear of Chelsea. But let's not get over ourselves. Forward thinking, we've got Zagreb coming up next. The game I'm looking forward to, the Champions League, is coming back. Be sure to check out my preview for that game, which I'll have up at some point in the coming days. But yeah, it's been a great win for us today. Can't really ask for much more from Arsenal. It's a shame City won in the last minute of their game. Some bloke that I've never even heard of getting on the score sheet for them. But that's what title contenders are made of these days. Also, Martial scoring for Man United. So we're pretty much on level terms with United. And You know, it's good that we're up there. I mean, considering where Chelsea are, thank God we're not in their position. We're up there, we're challenging at the moment. City are looking like the title favourites. They're kind of running away with it at the moment. But only 5 points ahead. This stage in the season, 5 games in, doesn't really mean a lot. But City are looking really good at the moment. I just hope that we can get that win against Chelsea and just push on, because we did look good today. I hope that does continue. But anyway, guys, like I say, do check out my preview for the game against Dynamo Zagreb. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV, and do make sure to check out my own channel, AFC Game by Game. Got plenty of content going up on my own channel, interviews, fan cams, you know, all that good stuff. Make sure to check that out, like I say. And as always, I'll speak to you soon, guys.